All right, gang, welcome back to our Can You Survive 25 challenge here on Zielonka. It is August, and we've got 3 fields today that are ready to harvest. At least I think it's 3 fields. I don't think I missed any of them, but I'm pretty sure it's 3 fields that we need to harvest today. 83, 56, and 78 all need to be harvested today. We've got $124,000 in the bank account. Not a ton of money, but a decent amount for the time being. And yeah, in the last episode, in case you missed it, we bought this behemoth, and it's been super helpful for us being able to have this... you know, with the size of the header here, it's definitely helpful for us with some of these fields here. There's a lot of larger, to medium to large size fields here that we're dealing with. So it was definitely nice to have the upgrade. And yeah, we're going at it. I guess I should turn on the beacons. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. There's not really an easy way to get through the trees here with this size of the header. Actually, there might be one right there. I was going to say, I don't think there's an easy way to get through here. I think I kind of have to go around the long way, but this looks like the spot right here. Okay. Perfect. All right, we found our shortcut. That's good. All right, so field 83 is the first one we're going to come to, so we're going to do that one first. Then we'll probably jump up and do 56 and then maybe over to 78. Or maybe vice versa. Maybe we go to 78 first and 56. It doesn't really matter. But we're going to go that approach. We are going to need to get the trailer out with the tractor, but for the time being, we're just going to bring the case over here and get started. Yeah, hope you're doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good, all things considered. We did get quite a number of the competitive one-tile challenge videos recorded here over the last weekend, which was great. Quite frankly, we got 3 done in the span of that weekend, so that's good. You'll have one tomorrow. You'll have one this Saturday, and then you'll have one again next Thursday, and then hopefully that Saturday as well. Hopefully we're back here in the groove for a little while. We will see. But yeah, we're back in the groove there, so that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing because we kind of want to knock the end of that series out. We've got about, now that we've got 3 recorded here, we've got about, I think 4 left, maybe 5 left. I think it's 4, though. I think we have 4 episodes remaining, past the ones that we've recorded already. Not ones that you've seen so far, but 4 after the ones that we've recorded. So we should, in theory, as long as we get, you know, 1 recording done a week like we used to, we should be able to get that done here by the end of June. Which will be good, right? That's going to be a good spot for, I think, for us to finish that series and kind of move on to the next. So I've talked about it briefly. Crust, you and I haven't really discussed it since. We're still working through the details, but now that we've got this back up and running again, I think we're going to wait until that's done, and then we'll decide what we're going to do at that point. As I mentioned before, he's getting ready to have knee surgery, so he's going to be... a little more difficult moving around, but it means he's going to have a little bit more time to do some videos as well. So we'll see what we come up with. It'll more than likely just be kind of a once-a-week series like we initially started with the competitive one-tile challenge, but we'll see. We might end up, you know, delaying it a little bit. Who knows? But it's definitely in the works. We'll just see what we end up doing there when it comes to that series. So we've got this series running. We will be taking a break on this series probably in the next 2 months or so. We'll probably take a break for a little while. Not like before where it was a super long break, but, you know, in a month or 2, and we'll be back into it again. We've got the one-tile challenge that we'll be completing, like I said, at the end of June. And then we've got our triple threat challenge, and we've got our island preservation, which the island preservation is finally starting to make some progress. It feels like we're finally starting to make some progress. We've really stepped it up there. If you watched yesterday's episode, you'll know that we actually bought our 3rd plot of land now. Well, technically it's the 4th, but really the 3rd plot of land. The 4th plot of land that we bought was just a tiny little piece, little corner piece, like $4,000. It really wasn't worth anything major, and it doesn't really give us anything that we can really do. So yeah, the one we bought in yesterday's episode, the largest to date in that series. So that's going to be super helpful as we move along there. Obviously, we're just getting started there. We don't have the whole entire plot set up yet. But we did get started on that in the last episode, which is exciting. So yeah, that's going to be kind of what we're going to be running here for a little while. We're going to run those two series for a while, depending on the outcome of what Crestu and I do or do not do with that series that we're kind of coming up with. And when we decide to actually start working on that, I may come out with another series whenever the one-tile challenge is over. We'll see, right? It really depends on that series with Crestu and what we decide to do there. You know, if he's struggling a little bit more after that knee surgery to get some videos done, things like that, that's why I'm saying we might end up delaying it. We'll just see what happens there. When we first brought that up and first started talking about that, he wasn't really scheduled for that knee surgery, so that's why I'm saying it may change from what we were initially talking about, which was, I know, only a couple of weeks ago when we brought it up initially, but, you know, it is what it is. So, we've got this field to do, that field 56 and then field 78. 78 has tram lines in it. A lot of you were mentioning making sure that, you know, these fields that I bought to turn the tram lines off. It's a little too late, I think, at this point to do that, but, you know, once we move forward here and we start reseeding them, it'll be fine. We won't be doing any tram lines. I don't ever do tram lines, really, unless I absolutely have to. Now, this field would be wonderful to buy, but we don't have enough money for this, obviously, and it's just now growing anyway. They just reseeded it, so... but maybe we can work towards saving up to buy that piece of land, because that is really a gigantic piece of land that would really help us, I think. Couple other things to note. We've talked about these 4 fields here and how my plan really is to try to combine them a bit. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm not quite sure I want to do that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because with we're utilizing precision farming. And with precision farming, if I decide to go that approach, right, and combine these fields, we're not going to know, what this strip here is. Well, it's not the best, at least, at telling you that, right? So I think what we can do, though, and it's pretty much going to mimic the same exact thing, is just put, the exact same crop in all 4 of the fields and then make it just one gigantic large field. Or we can at least do 2 fields, right? Maybe that's what we do. Maybe we kind of combine 2 of the fields, in essence. Sorry, getting hit the microphone. Without actually combining them, without actually getting rid of that track that goes through them. I think that's the way we're going to go about it. Now, other than that, there's not really any other fields here that we, realistically want to buy right now. We don't have a ton of money anyway, but there's not really anything crazy. I've talked about it a lot. I still don't exactly know where I want to put our yard, for Farm 2, right? We've talked about it. We're going to put it somewhere more in the centralized location. The centralized location is somewhere in this region, really. There's not a whole lot of flat land on this map. I mean, there is, but there's all these little tiny dips and hills. I mean, you can see it in this field here, right? There's just tiny little dips and hills all over the place. So, it's going to take a little bit of work to really make a yard that looks good. We're going to have to probably, level some land here, which is going to cost a lot of money, right? So realistically, what I'm kind of thinking, at least for current, and I feel like I talk about this and change it up every time, but I mean, this area here looks nice, but we'd have to get rid of all these trees, which, fine. We can use the tree devour mod and get rid of them pretty quickly. But this area kind of is relatively promising to me. It's not, though. I don't think it's the flattest, though. I mean, if you look down here, I mean, it's partially flat, but it's still hilly, just like this field and everything else. Really, the only fields that we have that they're still hilly, but they're not as bad are these 2. Well, we don't own this one yet, but maybe this is the way we go. Maybe we take over these 2 pieces here. But the problem with those 2 pieces, the problem with those 2 pieces are, well, quite frankly, the problem is they're a little bit further north than I was hoping for. This is almost the same thing as being here. The only difference is we're a little closer to these strips of fields which we're allowed to use, right? Although these up here are going to be further away, most of the other fields you could argue are, this is kind of centralized, right? You could argue that. So I don't know, gang. We're gonna have to think about it a little more. I would love your input though, what you think. I know a lot of you agreed with the centralized location for it, but I'd love to see and know what your thoughts are there in regard to that. Because I just don't know where I want to go with it. You know, I just don't know. I guess let me know if you think I should, you know, take out those trees whenever we do buy that plot of land. Now, to buy that plot of land where I'm talking about with those trees, it's that big, massive field that's $555,000, right? So it's a lot of money. But I guess let me know your thoughts if you think I should go that route or if I should go to, you know, 58, 57, or maybe even here at 56, 55, maybe. I mean, that could technically work too, although that land is really hilly. I know that. So, yeah, I don't know what to do there. I really don't. I don't know what to do, what to choose. So any input that you have would be great, right? It would be great. Memorial Day was good. Had a family thing we went to. Every time we get together for some kind of a holiday of some sort like that, like Memorial Day or Labor Day or 4th of July or whatever it is, we always have a croquet tournament. Family's always done croquet ever since I was little. And recently, I say recently, within the last, I don't know, handful of years or so, we had one of our croquet balls that cracked. It was like a cheaper one. We've got really good old set now, but it was like cheaper one, and it cracked. Still together, but it cracked. And so we decided to turn that into our makeshift croquet trophy, champion trophy, right, for whoever wins. And so we've been signing it, and I was lucky enough to win it this year. Pretty happy about that. If you haven't played croquet, man, it's a lot of fun. I like croquet a lot. Always arguments about the rules. Did you watch the Indy 500 this year? If anybody likes the Indy 500, did you watch it this year? I happened to be there. A friend of mine got tickets. Weren't the greatest tickets in the world, but you know what? They were free, right? So I can't really complain. They were from his work. They got them for free. So, you know, they were nice. They were on the infield, though. Kind of on the end of turn 4. So they weren't the best seats in the world, and they were kind of close, right? You want to be a little higher up when you're going to something like that, but it was still fun. Just a hot. It was a little hot. There was no air movement where we were, so it was a little hot, but it was still fun. That ending was pretty nuts, right? That first and second were the closest that it's ever been for the Indy 500, and then if you watched third, fourth, and fifth cross the line, that was even closer. Yeah, it was like horse racing photo finish for all 5 positions. It was nuts. People I bet on did not win, unfortunately. I just made small little side bets on DraftKings, nothing crazy. Always throw, you know, a buck or two down just to see what happens, right? Never know. Mick Schumacher was racing it as a rookie. Michael Schumacher's son, so that was kind of cool. He didn't do it very well. I mean, he finished the race, so I guess that's a win as a rookie, but I thought he was going to be a lot higher up than he was. I think he got 18th or 19th position, something like that, which, I mean, he was starting kind of at the back of the pack, so I guess he did do all right when you think of it in that sense, but so I think I've changed my mind. I think we're going to go to field 78. Yeah, 78. Let's going to go to field to 78. The reason why I'm saying that is because I think it's going to be more difficult without a header trailer, because we don't have one for the case, to get over to that field. You know, from 56, I think it's going to be more difficult. So we're going to go about it this way. Now, there is a river or a creek here. I don't know There's a bit of an area here it looks like we can go through, but I'm not quite sure if I can make it with this or not. This might be a mistake to try this. I'm going to peek and see. Yeah, it does not look like we're going to be able to make it through here with the size of this header without running into some trees here. Yeah, that ain't going to work. I'm not even going to try to go through that maze. All right, so we'll go around. So we'll get the rest of 78 and 58 done, and then we'll see where we're at after that. In our production for canola oil here. Well, sunflower, all oils, really. No. The engine just stopped. It's one of those situations where it... I don't know why. You go through too many pieces of equipment. Turns everything off. It's a little weird, but, you know, whatever. Most of it and unloaded, so I guess it's fine. And we were able to do it just now, so everything's good. Anyway. All right, those fields are all done. We need to unload the remainder of this, and then we need to start getting them prepped, or at least start reseeding them. I think we can reseed canola today. Well, I know we can. Yeah, so we definitely want to put canola back in a few of those fields. Obviously, we've got quite a few. I showed you a bunch of them, right? There's quite a few fields there. Well, this is going well. All right, let me try this again. I am terrible at this. I've said this to you many times. If you're coming here to look for somebody who's really good at backing up a articulate trailer, this is not the place for that. That is not my forte. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right, so tons and tons of canola going in there, which is good. We do have some barley in the silo. Again, not really anything we're going to do with that barley right now. We're going to wait until it's the best time to sell it. There's no reason to do anything with it for now. So we'll leave this here for right now. And we need to get the plow and get those fields plowed up. Now, the odds are we're not going to get everything we need to get done today. So we'll probably do 2 episodes here in August. So the more I'm thinking about it, you know, I want your input, but the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think that maybe this is the location to go to. It's pretty bad. We are going to have to kind of start from somewhere up in here and then pull the land up, so it's going to have a bit of a steep cliff, but I think we could make something relatively cool with that if we do it the right way. You know, like a ramp that kind of comes up into where the yard is from down there. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. It could be something, but, you know, let me know either way. I mean, I still like the idea of the tree area there that I showed you earlier, chopping all of those down and, you know, kind of going from there. I still like that idea, too. It just really depends on what we want to go with, I guess. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to put canola in this field that I was just talking about. We'll put canola back in on, well, at least 2 of these fields, and probably 78 as well, I think. Well, we might do sunflower. I don't know. What we'll probably end up doing is either 86, 85. Yeah, we'll do 86, 85 as sunflower, 84, 83 as canola. I think that's what we'll do. Now, I don't know if this field is going to need any lime. I don't know if any of these fields are going to need any lime or not. I would assume they probably are going to. But I don't know, right? I don't know. Yeah, they probably could use a little bit. You can see how this one's got a nice tealish color down here at least, and then the green color. It's a green color for most of it, so maybe it'll be okay, but, you know, it'd probably be beneficial for us to put some lime down regardless. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is that one field that I was talking about that maybe we make the yard on, maybe. I'm not going to put anything in it for right now because even if you know, if we decide not to do that as the yard for whatever reason, I could put something else in there, right? I mean, we've got a couple of options for oils, right? So we've got rice, which we haven't done yet. We can do long grain rice and regular rice, but we've got to obviously make rice fields. I think it makes sense to do those there if we are going to do rice. I've mentioned this before, we need a little more land to do this, I think, with a little more money incoming first. I'd like to explore doing some crude oil. You know, it's not something specific to the map, it's a mod, but there is a mod where you can do crude oil, and there's a lot of different productions that have to be utilized to turn it into actual, you know, oil that can be utilized, gasoline, whatever it ends up being, right? But I kind of like that, the idea of doing that. I had planned to do that at some point in a previous series. It just never ended up working out. Since we're doing an oil farm here, I think it makes a lot of sense for us to expand on the idea of doing that here. It is very expensive, though. I mean, very expensive. We're going to need $600,000-$800,000 to actually get this up and running to its fullest extent. We can obviously do it in pieces and make a little bit less money, but to get to the full extent, you're going to need a lot of money. You're going to need a lot of money. And then there's, you know, multiple different kinds of refineries you can get. There's a medium refinery and a large refinery. Honestly, I think I'd probably like to do both the refineries, you know, just so we can actually view them in person, that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, we can just go into the, you know, the construction menu and you can view them, but you know what I mean? Put them down and just see what they look like up close and personal, and, you know, how slow one is versus the other, etc., right? You just kind of go through all those details. I think I'd like to do that, and really, to do that, we need a lot of land, right? And we do have land. It would just mean that we would have to get rid of some of these fields. I'm not quite sure that's what I want to do. Honestly, I think, you know, buying like 87 here makes sense because we've got all this land here we could use, and then the land up here we could use, right? There's a lot of potential, you know, with that. Same thing with these two, right? These, you're getting a lot of this land to the right, right? So, you know, something like that I think makes a lot of sense to utilize that area for our oil stuff. We don't have those fields yet, obviously. And like I mentioned, you're going to need a lot of money. I don't know why it was still going straight there like it was attached to the GPS. That was weird. But anyway, like I was saying, you're going to need a lot of money to get all that done. Obviously, you have to get the field first, and then you've got enough money to do the actual crude oil production stuff. So, but I'd still like to do it. And just real quick, while we're going down here, I can kind of show you what I'm talking about really quick. At least I think I have it installed still. I might not have it turned on. That might be what it is. No, I do. So there's the oil well pump. There's the small refinery, the medium refinery, the big oil pump. You know, so there's quite a few things here that we have to get, and that's just part of it. There's other things too. I've got to buy oil barrels and things like that really to move it around. Of course, you can use the distributing, but I think the initial, as with anything, you know, whenever I put something new down, I like to do it the way it's intended and not, you know, utilize a distribution approach, right? But once we've done it once or twice or whatever, especially if it's super frustratingly annoying to do, in other words, it takes a long time and it's, you know, monotonous, then yeah, we'll put it on distributing, of course. But why am I going this way? I should be going this way. So anyway, that'll be coming at some point down the line. We need a lot more money to be able to manage that and get that running. You know, I kind of showed it to you, right? It's a lot of money there. There's a lot of money at that. I mean, you're probably needing at least $1 million. What? That little tree? That little tree? Okay, whatever. I'm so happy we made this upgrade to this plow, man. This plow has been a huge help for us, right? The other one was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It was nice, but this one's so much faster, such wider, right? Just makes our life a lot easier. And really, I mean, with the amount of money we're making every month, we can afford it, right? And speaking of that, we haven't looked at Farm 1 at all yet. What we might end up doing today is leaving the reseeding here and the lime for the next episode. Like I said, we're going to do a second one here in August and jump to Farm 1 after this and do a little work here in Farm 1. I think our roasted coffee beans, I think they need a little liquid fertilizer, I think. Or our coffee bean greenhouse, rather. I think it needs a little liquid fertilizer. Some of the other ones probably do too, but I don't think they're as bad of a shape, I think, as the roasted coffee beans. I think they are pretty low, if not already empty. So, yeah, we probably need to work on that a bit. Let's just take a look for now. Let's take a look right now, I should say. Yeah, there's no liquid fertilizer in there at all. We want to keep that moving, so let's do that. Everything else is okay for the time being. They definitely need some, but they're okay. So we'll jump to Farm 1 after we're done with this plowing here and kind of do a little maintenance type of work up there. Soon enough here, we're going to start utilizing a worker. We obviously need a little bit more equipment to do so. One thing we have not looked at yet so far in this episode, which is kind of crazy, I've just been rambling a lot, or we've just been doing work, we've just been working, is the used market. Okay, let's just run right into it again, Z. Good job, buddy. So I think we should. So let's take a look at that used market. I always like to look at the used market. For whatever reason, I just didn't look at it today. Not really. Ooh, wait a minute. I was going to say there's not really much in there for us, but I don't think this will fit our harvester, though. But that would be fantastic to have that. The C16F. Let's get to the end here and let's look at that. I think that's for the big, heavy, high-end John Deere, and that's not what we have. Would it work with ours? Maybe. Maybe. But I'm almost positive that that's for a much higher end harvester than what we currently have. I can already tell you it is. It's not even, I'm pretty sure. I can tell you it is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. So it's the S7. It can use it on the S7. So maybe, because the S7 is similar to what we've got. So maybe the horsepower is, you know, very much more significant. But, I mean, it might work. I'm going to think about it. Maybe I'll run some tests on it off camera on another save file and just see. It might work. And then maybe in the next episode we can purchase it if it's still out there. Whoa, I got a little close here. Okay, I'm going the wrong way. Whoops. Flip a U-turn. We're doing a maze. Here we go. It's not the same place we came across last time, so that's why I was getting a little lost there. But we made it. We made it. All right, I will see you back at Farm 1. I'm going to go bring this back to Farm 2, drop it off, and I'll see you at Farm 1. All right, we are here at Farm 1. I think there's some liquid fertilizer in here, I think. As long as I get the right one, which I think it should be in here. There is. There's not tons, but there's something. It might be enough, actually, for that greenhouse. I'm pretty sure that greenhouse doesn't hold a whole lot. I think it only holds like 2,000, I think. No, it looks like about 3,000, but still, it didn't hold that much. Now, the other thing I want to take a peek at really quick here is I just want to look at the prices here of some of this stuff. I'm just blanking on when it's best to sell some of this stuff. I don't think it's now. As a matter of fact, I can almost guarantee you it's not now. But regardless, we need to look at it. So, quick autosave. And let's look at the roasted coffee beans first. Yeah, March. So not now or February. More than likely March, though. The pickled stuff, I still don't think it's now either. No, it's mostly January for most of it. March for the lettuce. Oh, they added more. I forgot they added more. They added garlic, potatoes, carrots. Okay, they added more. But yeah, most of the stuff we have except for the lettuce is January or December. So, yeah, so it's not them. So yeah, there's nothing else there specifically that needs to be done. Let's see. How are our greenhouses here? Yeah, they're okay. They could use a little bit of a top off. The wood greenhouse is fine, it looks like. Yeah, it's fine. I think what I would like to do next, honestly, you know, I've talked a lot about, you know, extending the yard and all that stuff, but I think if we can find a way to take some of that wood and not use this, obviously I'm using this in the one-tile challenge right now. You know, well, I guess we could use the carpentry since we're using the sawmill, but I think I would like to find something else to do with that wood where we can send it. You know, maybe we do this, right? And we can send the wood chips here, right? And make electric charge with it. That might be something to consider. What else? Anything else that we can think of to do here? That's just the sawmill. I mean, we could do it. We could. I don't think it's really worth it. Yeah, like some of this stuff, I just don't think it's quite worth it. But maybe we could find a mod or something as we move along here that we could utilize, you know, to do something different maybe with the wood. I mean, I would love to put some of these things down here, right? But I'm not quite sure it makes sense. This probably is the one that makes the most sense. It's expensive. We don't have enough money for it right now. But that's probably the one that makes the most sense because we can take the wood and turn it into paper. You know, that's something different, right? So that probably makes the most sense, and I think maybe somewhere around in here would make a lot of sense for it too. I think it would be pretty cool right there. Yeah. Let's work towards it. Obviously, that's another high dollar amount that we do not have, right? I mean, I've talked already about the crude oil and now this, right? Those are we need a lot more money than we currently have to be able to get to that point, and we don't have that right now. So, but anyway, we are going to leave the episode here. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button. In the case you've yet to do so, they are free to do. They help me out an absolute ton. Me and the channel specifically helps out an absolute ton. Thanks to my members for all their continued support. It really does mean the world. If you want to become a member and get early access to videos like this one, there is a link down below. You also get a member series that occurs once a month. That member series, we normally go through different ideas that are up in my brain for a series, unless, of course, we've got series that are going that aren't ending anytime soon. And then, from there, that series specifically that I might be working towards or whether I might be showing you, I take your input and then we try to incorporate it in a series if it makes sense to move forward with that. But if not, we do have a series that we run on a basis every month. That's a members-only series. And, so you get access to that. Check my second channel out. Check the Discord out. Everything's down below, as always. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And I'll see you next time.